You fought well yesterday. Your style is unorthodox.
Scorpio.
Good morning, Yankees universe, and welcome back to another episode of the Yankees Morning Brew on this Tuesday, April 15th. Like always, I'm your guy Hector, joined by my compañera this morning. We got the lovely Grace Monroe. All you Yankee fans, wake up and get your coffee. Grace, how are you doing?
What do they say in Star Trek? Is like live long and prosper. Is that right?
Live long and prosper.
Is it really?
Live long and prosper.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, I nailed it. I'm more of a Star Wars girl, to be honest.
I'm a Star Trek.
Are you really?
Yeah, I'm more of a Star Trek guy.
Okay. Well, we can fight later. But but I'm so proud of my boy. I couldn't be more proud. I don't know why I'm so attached to this kid, but I just am so proud of Jasson Dominguez. We won the game last night. And we got a lot to talk about today and a lot to get to, but I'm feeling good. Hector, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. The New York Yankees won. I was at the game yesterday. Aaron Judge will be participating in the upcoming World Baseball Classic. He will be playing for Team USA. He will be captain of the team as well. The first Yankees since 2006. There was a man by the name of Derek Sanderson Jeter who was the captain when they first had the WBC. Aaron Judge is the captain this year around. I know he's number 99. I know he plays for the Yankees, but I will be rooting for Team Puerto Rico down at the World Baseball Classic. I will be down there also with Latino Sports covering it. But, you know, I was there yesterday at the press conference when Judge spoke about it. I want to just bring it up real quick before we shout out the chat. Again, make sure you guys visit latinosports.com. And that's the picture that I took that Major League Baseball is sharing, just to let you guys know. So he came out. He was with manager Mark DeRosa. Mark DeRosa at the winter meetings, him and I were having a conversation, and he brought up the World Baseball Classic, how he's super excited and look forward to this upcoming WBC and how it means more to players now, right? And that's a message that both him and Judge shared yesterday while talking about his decision on why he wanted to participate in the World Baseball Classic. Grace, I'll toss it over to you. Folks in the chat, oh, that's my captain. Absolutely, Erica.
I heard everyone on the team was calling him Captain America because of this. I'm like, y'all need to catch up because we've been calling him Captain America on Yankees Morning Brew for a minute.
Exactly.
Because he acts like Captain America. He never says anything wrong. He always makes the best, choices and decisions. He never steps out of line. He's the ultimate leader, the ultimate teammate, the ultimate hype man, the ultimate, what I'm sure is going to be the ultimate father, hopefully. God bless him and Samantha and little Nora. But this is the next step in Judge's legacy. And yes. I love to see it for him. It's great for baseball. It's great for the Yankees because it'll put us once again on the international stage with our best player out there representing not only our country, but the Yankees as well. I don't see really any downsides. He's going to be 34 in the WBC. He's still in his prime, but this is his time. The next time the WBC comes around, he'll be older. I'm not going to say he won't be the same. I can't tell the future. But this is his time to go represent his country. These guys, they're Yankees, but they're also people. There's a lot more to life. These people, this is their lives, So I'm happy for him. I'm happy for the whole situation. So congratulations to him. It's quite an honor. It's an honor to the Yankees, an honor to the Yankees fans who've been loving him for years. And it's an honor for Aaron Judge as well to represent the country. So all around, good feelings.
And also, Grace, hold on, wait.
Oh my God!
Because there's something that we got to tell the chat, right? Something that we should have started the show with, and I apologize for that. That's on me. But folks in the chat, we are at 5K subscribers. We passed it over the weekend. Right now, we are sitting at 5,034 subscribers. We appreciate all of you guys for supporting us. Yankees Morning Brew. We are on our way now to 10K subscribers. So again, appreciate all of you guys. Shout out to my guy, the Ace Avenue, who was in the building. Ace, when he had his live stream on Thursday, I believe, I went into the chat. Ace, his entire community, they followed us. So Ace, I appreciate you, my guys. Shout out to you. Thank you so much, Erica. Let's do a roll call as we continue. We got Anna Marie in the building. Anna Marie, good morning. Our good friend Nathaniel Crenshaw is in the building. Salute, salute, salute. 3 capital S's. My man G-Man for life is in the building. G-Man, how you doing? Anthony Medina, mi hermano de la Isla, is in the building. Anthony, how you doing? Mikey C, a.k.a. Roro, will be in the building. Folks, I got some guys joining us later on today on the show, because we got a little preview that we're going to give. We're going to have some baseball conversation. So shout out to my guy Roro in the building, who is down there. Jacob Petruzzi is in the building. Shout out to our good friend Jacob Petruzzi. Who else? We got Theo Nosebleed section in the building. Anna Marie, how are you doing, Anna Marie? I love Anna Marie, seeing Anna Marie in the chat. We got Eddie Snaps in the building. Spinning Mantis, how you doing? John the Beagle Dad, Anna Marie's Star Wars fan, just like you.
Star
Great.
Wars, yeah.
Shout out to John the Beagle Dad. Big time Jerry Cadill is in the building. Jerry, how you doing? Salute, salute, salute. 3 capital S's. My guy Mark Teammaker is in the building, folks. I got something special that I want to show you guys. We got an exclusive over here. This past weekend, we all know the catcher from the New York Yankees, right, Grace? J.C. Escada. It's a beautiful story. Shout out to my good friend Frank Luna. But this past Sunday, we were at Mama D's Empanada in New Jersey with J.C. Escada and the family that are behind Mama D's Empanada. It is a beautiful story. We're working on an article with Latino Sports, so be on the lookout to check it out. But the people at Mama D's Empanada, shout out to Mama D, specifically Mama D and Papa D as well. But they're amazing. It was a beautiful story. It felt like you were hanging out with your Wella in her living room, having a nice home cooked meal. It was an amazing event. JC Escaro was there. Johnny Two Phones was there. So I got an exclusive interview with Johnny Two Phones, from who has that amazing anthem right now for the New York Yankees. And we got JC Escaro
with Latino Sports
the interview as well. So we're just going to play this real quick, and then afterwards I'll toss it over to Grace to get her take.
What's up, Yankee fans? We are here. This is Hector Bochan with Latino Sports, and we are here at Mama D's Empanada. And I'm with Johnny Two Phones. Johnny, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. I'm full after Mama's Empanadas, so it's good.
If you had to rate it 1 to 10, what we giving Mama D's Empanadas today?
20 easy. And the service alone, they're just good people here. They're showing me love, so it's a 20.
Low key, it kind of felt like I was hanging out in my grandma's living room, right? Being here today at Mama D's Empanada in New Jersey, close to Sayreville, right? But getting into it, I want to talk to you about the song, the #1 Yankee anthem that is out right now, Johnny Two Phones. How did this come about? Were you always a Yankee fan growing up? Just talk to the people and give some background on it.
Yeah, so I was always a Yankee fan, going to the games and stuff and just kind of seeing it. And then one day, a couple months ago, the Yankees just followed me on Instagram and slid into my DMs and told me to pull up to the stadium and asked me to make them a song. So I was like, yeah.
So now, as a Yankee fan, right, growing up as a kid, obviously we fall in love with this game as children, as young. If you had a message to talk to your younger self, what would that message be?
Ooh, that's tough. That's a deep question. I would probably say stop listening to people who never did what you want to do. Because I used to do that. I used to let people kind of get into my brain about my decisions. And it's why am I listening? You never did what I wanted. You never accomplished my goals. So why would I listen to you?
Exactly.
So it's really just that confidence, that ultimate confidence in yourself.
Don't let other people's fears hold you back from doing what you actually wanted to do and pursue your passion. Exactly. Last question I got to ask you with JC Escada right here. Growing up, what was your favorite cereal, JC?
Ooh, there's some good ones. I like Trix. I like, but my #1 favorite, Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Ooh, honestly, Cinnamon Toast Crunch is my favorite as well. Cinnamon Toast Crunch, that's a low key. That's a low key. Johnny, for you, favorite cereal?
Based off, I'm a big peanut butter fan. I like anything peanut butter. Reese's, what's it called? Reese's Puff.
Yeah, Reese's Puff. Yeah,
that's that right there.
Copy. We're here with JC Escaro, catcher of the New York Yankees. If you had one message from my guy JC for this season, what would that be?
It's road to 28. Let's bring one home. I want you to know what I'm saying?
Trying to put someone here. Let's go. Yeah. Shout out to Latino Sports. Everyone out there. I appreciate the support. Let's get it.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Latino Sports, man.
And we are here at Mama D's Empanadas, the best empanadas in Jersey and in the East Coast, if I may say.
You're a goofball. I love it. I love you, Hector. That's amazing.
Love you too, bestie.
Hector is out there in the streets doing big things, for real. We're so lucky to have him as our friend and as my co-host. And you're just awesome, Hector. You're just genuine. People can tell that about you, and good vibes all the time. So that's awesome.
Nah, you're the best. First off, JC Escara was amazing, right? And he got bombarded with so many different questions about his story, about the whole Uber driver, him being a substitute teacher. That's why I wanted to just talk about cereal. That's why I just want to talk about lay back things. And JC appreciated that. And yesterday when I was at the stadium, I kind of felt, I ain't gonna lie, Grace, I kind of felt a little important because he came up to me, remembering me, like, hey, Poppy, what's up? How you doing? You know, da-da-da. We had a good moment. So shout out to JC Escara. Shout out to his wife as well. She was amazing as well. And shout out to just the New York Yankees, the way that they've covered his story, the way that they've highlighted his story. To me, it's amazing, Grace.
It is, and everybody's cheering for him, and it's the best part of the Yankees fan base that is represented in how we're all pulling for JC Escara since the beginning of spring training. You know, people say the Yankees are, Yankees fans are the worst in sports. The Yankees we have such a bad rap, but actually, if you understand us just a little bit, we're actually the best. I'm not biased at all. But when you see stories like JC Escara, when you see stories like Velasquez was it last year before? And when you see these kinds of rags to riches, if you want to say, or just underdog stories, you see the best part of Yankees fans. Yeah. And it makes me proud to be a Yankees fan. You know, the other day when JC hit that double, he gets on second base and he jumps up and he does this. And I go, oh my God, how cute. And my husband goes, he's driving an Uber. And I was like,
that's what he said it was. Yeah, that's what he said it was for. Yeah. Yeah, that's what he said it was for.
That is so cool. And you know what I said to my husband? I said, if that is what that is so cool, because he's not ashamed of where he came from, what he did to get there. In fact, he honors it. And it's just, it is a role model to us all, you know?
And I just want to say too, you know, a takeaway from this whole entire story, right? There's no shame in people who are Uber drivers. If you're an Uber driver, if you work in hospitality, I used to work as a server. Sure. I used to work as a bartender, as a busboy as well. I know Grace has some experience doing that type of work, and there's no shame if you were an Uber driver or a substitute teacher. No shame whatsoever. And that's the only takeaway that I have of it, because I'm not gonna lie, there was some of the journalists, some of the Latino journalists felt some type of way, because some of them is like, yo, I do Uber on the side. What does that mean that he was a former Uber driver? So I kind of felt some type of way, but I just want to say no shame if you're an Uber driver, if you're somebody out there, if you got to hustle to put money on your table, you do what you got to do. If you got to work a horrible, shitty job at McDonald's or any fast food restaurant, you go out there and you do what you got to do. There's no shame in an honest day's work. Exactly. Be proud of it. Yeah.
Be proud of yourself. Be proud of what you do. Just like JC, he's playing in the major leagues, but he's proud that he was an Uber driver. He's proud of what he did for his family to get where he is, you know. And I think in one interview anyway, I don't want to speak out of turn because my memory, but yeah, just be proud of where you came from. I have a sweatshirt from a community college that I went to in between when I went to different universities, as I transferred around a little bit. And I wear that community college sweatshirt. And my sister one time was like, why would you wear that community college sweatshirt? And I was like, because I went there. Because I went there and I'm not ashamed. You know, I went there. I had great teachers. I had great experiences. I made friends. Like, I don't care what people think. If they think it's lame that I rep the community college that I stopped by, I don't care. And that's how everybody should be about everything in your life, you know?
Gotta throw the gunshot there for that one. Let's shout out the chat before we jump in more into the conversations. Like Erica says, makes your success that much sweeter. Absolutely, Erica. Shout out to E. Eddie Snap says we all got to start somewhere to get where we are or will be. Nope, absolutely. Nathaniel Crenshaw, Grace, how you a Yankee fan from Texas? Listen, Nathaniel, you know the law of Grace Monroe as a Yankee fan, all right, Nathaniel? Let's
Deal with it.
You don't know the law. Shout out to Theo Nosebleeds, who said the old days players did not make the money they do now and had other interests. Yogi Berra was a part-time owner of a bowling alley. Shout out to Yogi Berra and his bowling alley. Anna Marie says, no shame if you work hard at any job. Honest work is commendable. Absolutely, Anna Marie. I'm telling you this. When I worked EMS, Grace, if I'm supposed to work 8 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock at night, I'm gonna tell you this right now. You never get off on time. You never get off at 8 o'clock at night. It's always 30 to an extra hour of mandation. So I understand what it is when you work hard 13, 14, 15-hour shifts. My guy, NFE, says, gotta have a roof over your head and put the food on the table. Absolutely. And talking about putting food on the table, Grace, we gotta talk about the New York Yankees yesterday, right? I know you want to we're gonna get into Carlos Rodon and his last start, but we got to talk about the game from yesterday. I'll kick it over to you. I'll let you go. Lead the way in whichever way you want to handle the conversation.
So I guess the bottom line is we won. I guess another bottom line is we're back in first place in the AL East. So it feels kind of strange to come up on a podcast and complain, right? But this is who we are. So I'm very concerned. Listen, I like watching home runs just as much as the next person, okay? But I'm very concerned about this home run or nothing pattern that we are creating. Last night we had 4 runs, all of them solo home runs. And first of all, it's indicative of the style of the game that there was never anybody on base. Now, there were a couple home runs that were kind of like back to back, so I get that. But it's just a pattern that I'm seeing that it's making me a little bit concerned. We saw Judge get a couple of base hits up the middle, and I love to see that. Obviously, Judge, the best home run hitter in baseball, that's not up for debate. So to see him even getting a couple of base hits up the middle, that's the kind of ball that I love to see. Paul Goldschmidt is absolutely one of my favorite players on the squad right now.
You called it, Grace. You called it, Grace.
Thank you. Talk about consistency. Consistency is the word of the freaking day, okay? And remember that when we come around to talk about Carlos Rodon. But if consistency is the word of the day, the epitome of that in the New York Yankees is illustrated in Paul Goldschmidt. He is so consistent. I love it. We haven't seen him hit a home run since I think the first game of the year, but I don't care. I want Paul Goldschmidt up in a situation over almost anybody else on the team because I know he will hit the ball the other way. He will judge the situation. He will do what the team needs, whether it's going to end up being a double or a single. He'll bring the runners in. He'll move the runners over. He does whatever the team needs consistently. This guy comes through. I love it. He reminds me, I said he reminded me of DJ LeMahieu in his prime, or like the dependability. I really don't want to like invoke the name of our very icons of the Yankees lore, but it reminds me of a Jeter feeling, where when he gets up, you know he's going to come through, he's going to figure it out, he's going to hit it where they're not, he's going to go this way or he'll go this way, he'll do whatever he needs to bring the runner in. That's what I'm getting from Paul. I know it's early, I'm not saying he's Derek Jeter's next coming or anything like this, please everybody calm down, but it's giving me that vibe, and I love that.
Yeah.
Wells broke out of his little slump. He finally got a homer. The first time he was up, he almost got that one. He almost had that one. The next time he got up, he said, bet. And he actually went deep with the ball, so that was great. We saw Ben Rice is still tearing the cover off the ball. Absolute baseball savant darling right now. 100 percentile on a couple of categories on Baseball Savant, meaning no one's better than him in the entire league. So Jazz also homered, which, how do you feel about that, Hector? Like, just tell me the truth. Oh, I love Jazz Chisholm Jr.
I was about to say, I'm gonna start off by saying I love Jazz Chisholm.
I love him too.
Shout out to my boy Ben Rice as well. We got to give Arroz Ben some credit as well. I saw Ben Rice working with the catchers as well in the corridors of the Yankees, just working on some fundamentals. So shout out to Ben Rice yesterday. But no, when it comes to Jazz Chisholm, Sunday driving to Jersey, shout out to my guy Caleb Vasquez as well. When we were driving there, we were in the car listening to the game, and Jazz's at-bat comes up, right? I know they lost that game, right? But that's not why I'm telling the story. I'm telling the story because when Jazz comes up, I tell Caleb, Jazz needs to break out of his slump. Jazz is struggling right now. And Grace, I kid you not, on the next pitch, literally 3 seconds after I say those words out of my mouth, he hits that home run. He had a home run yesterday. I know some people are saying that Jazz is falling in love with the home run ball, whether you like it or whether you not. Jazz Chisholm is going to have a 30-30 season. He's going to have he already has 5 home runs. He has 5 stolen bases on the season. Jazz Chisholm, we're not even 2 or 3 months done. We're not even 2 or 3 weeks finished with the full season. On April 15th, Jazz Chisholm is going to have a 30-30 season. Would I like to see Jazz put the ball in play and use more of his speed and stop falling in love with that home run? Absolutely. But if you're in Yankee Stadium, if you're a player like Jazz Chisholm, he has 6 home runs. Thank you, Sean. If you're a player like Jazz Chisholm, if you can touch that short porch in right field, you got to take advantage of it. We saw Brett Gardner take advantage of it. He was an all-star that season when he took advantage of it. We saw Curtis Granderson come over, take advantage of that short porch in right field. Let Jazz Chisholm cook. You know, again, would I like to see a higher batting average? Absolutely, Grace. But you can't deny the results, and runs are coming across the board.
Right. I think that for right now, I'm not mad. First of all, I absolutely adore and love Jazz Chisholm Jr. I think they should extend him right now. I want to see him as a Yankee for the rest of his career. I absolutely love him. But if I'm going to be picky, I want him on base more. I don't love the strikeouts. I can't stand up here or sit up here and say like, oh, 40% strikeout rate is fine with Jazz Chisholm Jr., but not with Spencer Jones. So I know they're different players, okay, but this is the type of thing you would see from Spencer Jones. He hits home runs. Don't get me wrong. Look at his numbers. He hits the long ball, but he strikes out so much. He's almost at a 50% clip right now in AA. Jazz Chisholm is right around 40%. So this is kind of what you would see from Spencer Jones. So for me, I cannot be a hypocrite and sit up here and say, I'm fine with it with Jazz, but I'm not fine with it with Spencer Jones. I don't love it. I'm being honest. I don't love it. However, what I will say is Jazz Chisholm Jr. is off to a hotter start this year than he was last year. He hates cold weather. What I mean is in the cold weather. So when he came up and it was cold, or when he played in the cold weather. And if this is how he gets through cold weather, I'm great with that. When the weather heats up and if we still see that he's home run or strikeout, that's not going to sit well with me because Jazz he's a 5-tool player. And I want to see him use all of his 5 tools to become the ultimate player that he can be. The ultimate player that he can be includes more than just home runs. Although I love home runs, I'm telling y'all, I feel stupid standing up here complaining about home runs. This is what it is to be a Yankees fan. But, you know, I want to see Jazz be the best that he can be. And the best that he can be is an all-around baseball player.
Yeah.
So I'm just watching that. I'm just watching.
I'm right there with you, Grace. I am right there with you when it comes to Jazz Chisholm. And I got some notes for Jazz Chisholm. And again, a little inside, right, Grace? Because one thing that I always wonder is how is it that all of these beat writers and all of these reporters, they have all of these stats, all of these statistics just available to them just in the blink of an eye, just available. Yeah. And I have the reason why. After every game, right, this is what I just found out working at MLB Media. after every game, you see now I'm doing my post-game wrap-up, right? I did it. I've been doing it for the past week. After every game, after the press conference, the reporters, they go back in the press booth and they start working on their articles. During that time, somebody from either the Yankees or either the Mets or whatever team that they're working for comes by with post-game notes from Major League Baseball. And when I tell you that these post-game notes are on point, they're on point. So for Jazz Chisholm, I just want to point it out. Jazz Chisholm was 1 for 4. He had a home run. He had an RBI. Hit his 6th home run of the year. It was a game-tying solo home run in that 4th inning. His homer was a back-to-back game for the 11th time in his career and 2nd time this season. Jazz Chisholm had 2 games back-to-back with a home run, right? The fact that he has done it twice in one season with the New York Yankees, he hasn't even played a full season with the Yankees, right? And when it comes to the New York Yankees, one thing to remember, when beating up on the Kansas City Royals, including the postseason, the New York Yankees are 20-6 in their last 26 games versus the Kansas City Royals. And that's dating back to 2021. If you go a little further back into that, in their last 30 games versus the Kansas City Royals, the New York Yankees are 28-9. And that date back all the way to 2019. I know the Royals struggled back then, but if we're looking at the future, everybody wants to put Bobby Witt ahead of Aaron Judge and the New York Yankees. The New York Yankees showed up yesterday, and that was some show notes for you.
Nice. That's awesome, Hector. You know, I think it was David Cohn on the broadcast mentioned that George Brett hates the Yankees, and I'm like, of course he does.
I met him yesterday. He was really nice. He was really nice.
He seems so nice.
He was really nice.
Yeah, you know my guy Joel Sherman. I love Joel Sherman, which we didn't get to meet him at winter meetings. We just missed him, although we both shared the same virus infection, the winter meetings cold or whatever.
Yes.
But Joel Sherman mentioned on his podcast that Jazz Chisholm Jr. is going to be a 30-30 guy, and you might not like it.
Absolutely.
That's what he said. And I was like, that is exactly what I'm saying. He might hit 30 home runs and get you 30 bags, but in the meantime, at what cost? You know what I mean? At what cost? So I'm not freaking out yet. I'm keeping my eye on Jazz. I just feel like once the weather heats up, you know, and he gets into a groove, we'll see where he goes. Once he gets like 10 or 15 home runs under his belt, maybe he will relax on the home runs. Like, I don't know. Maybe, who knows? We'll have to see. But I want to talk about Jasson Dominguez.
Go ahead, because hold on, before you speak on Jason, before you speak on Jason, because you brought up Spencer Jones, right?
Yes, bring up Spencer.
I got some stats for you, Grace Monroe.
Tell me,
okay?
I'm okay.
In Spencer Jones' last 34 games that he has played in AA, dating back to last year, Spencer Jones has a .318 batting average, a .636 slugging. He has a 1.021 OPS, 8 home runs. And do you want to take a guess what his strikeout rate is in that time frame? In the 34 games.
No, give it to me this year.
No. Wait, what happened?
The strikeout rate. I know he improved his strikeout rate toward the end of last year.
Yeah, and it's continued. That's why. That's why I bring it up. It's continued. So as of right now, in his last 32 games that he has played dating back to last year, Spencer Jones has a 33% strikeout rate. He has brought it down significantly. This season alone in AA, Spencer Jones is striking out at 34.5%. He has brought it down tremendously from where it was last year. And when you look at it, this is the first off season Spencer Jones had since high school that he wasn't recovering from an injury.
Then we should trade him now.
No, we should not trade him.
His value is high. Now's the time to trick another team into taking Spencer Jones.
No.
We can get.
If that's the case, if the Yankees would have ran off of that logic, the Yankees would have traded Aaron Judge to the Atlanta Braves, and we all would have been killing Brian Cashman if he would have traded Aaron Judge, Luis Severino, and Gary Sanchez to the Atlanta Braves for who? Anderson Simmons, who's not even in Major League Baseball anymore, Jason Haywood, who's barely hanging on in Major League Baseball, and some reliever named David Carpenter.
This kid is in AA, okay? Wake me up when she rolls over, because this is he's not even in Triple A. He's aging. He can't even graduate from Double A. I don't care. I'm so tired of people invoking the name of Spencer Jones. We need to call Spencer Jones. He's blah, blah, blah. Please, please let me know when he does something that I need to care about. Otherwise, trade him.
He's performed better in Double A than Anthony Volpe. He's performed better in Double A than Ben Rice. He's performed better in Double A than Austin Wells. When you look at the stats,
he's been there 10 years.
He only played Double A last year, Grace. He didn't play Double A the year before. He was in High A the year before, dealing with injuries. Shout out to big time Jerry Cadill, who says, "I love that laugh, Grace." Absolutely. Old Sarge is in the building. Says, "I love to see that war face, Grace." Absolutely. Shout out to my guy, Old Sarge, in the building. Gilberto Serrano is in the building. How you doing, G? Big G, how you doing? Hector, did you hear Soto misjudged? Yeah, that's the topic we're going to get into. But Grace Monroe, I know you want to talk about your guy, the Martian, Jasson Dominguez. So go ahead, Grace.
What are we doing with Jasson Dominguez? I'm genuinely asking, because why in the world are they treating this kid like he barely, scraped his way out of spring training and he's, on the edge of getting sent back down to AAA if he makes a mistake or two? That's how they're treating this guy, not like our number one prospect. And he has been our number one prospect for a while. This guy deserves so much more respect than he is being shown, okay? I know what they're saying, but their actions are saying something else. When he has the best game of his major league career on the field, last night, he made 9 plays in left field. 9 plays in left field. And they benched him. What are we doing? If you don't think he's a switch hitter, then just say that. Then just let him go from the left side then. If you don't trust his bat from the right, what are we doing? Why are you forcing him to be a switch hitter then? If you're going to take him out and pinch hit Cody Bellinger for him, why are we doing this? If you want to defensive replace him, then Cody Bellinger shouldn't have taken his at-bat. He should have had his at-bat from the right side. Now, you're telling me you sent Cody Bellinger in, but he's a lefty. So you're telling me that you don't trust Jasson's bat at all, so much so that you didn't even send up another righty, you sent up a lefty. So what are we doing? How is it rewarding him for having the best game so far of his career in left field? By benching him. How are you showing your number one prospect that you believe in them, that you are honoring their wonderful game that they've had, that they can take the next step, that they can grow? Am I wrong?
No, I'm with you. When it comes to Jasson Dominguez, Jasson Dominguez should have been in the game. Like you said, you want to give him reps. You want to allow him to build up his confidence. I just thought it was, if there was any game that Jasson Dominguez proved that he belonged in, it was yesterday's game, right? So I don't understand, was the substitution more because of his at bat and wanted to get somebody who has better numbers versus a left-handed pitcher out there, or was it more of a defensive replacement? Because if it's a defensive replacement, I kind of understand it, but at the same time, I don't understand it, because you're giving Cody Bellinger, the whole thought process was, we're giving Cody Bellinger a day off because the Yankees have played 15 straight games or something like that, and we need Cody Bellinger to be rested because of his back. Copy. You didn't rest Cody Bellinger. You gave him a half day off, and you had him come in late game situation. You had him pinch hit. I would have just rather that they kept Cody Bellinger, on the bench, and let Jasson Dominguez play. We were up. If we were down, there's a different conversation. We were up by multiple runs. We were up 4-1. So if there was any time to let Jasson Dominguez just play and just play through it, you do it in April.
Yeah.
right now. April. If you do it in April 15th.
Yeah, exactly,
was the
Hector.
end of the season.
Yes. When is he supposed to have these reps? Now, April. That's the time. Great point, Hector. And the thing is, if they were going to defensive replace him, then he still could have had that last at bat. And then Cody would have just ran out to the field for him. I don't understand. They took the at bat away from him. I don't get it. In the last couple days, he has hit a single, a double. He's driven in RBIs. He's walked. He's made plays in the field. He's stolen bags. Like, what do you want this kid to do? He's your number one prospect. Treat him like that. Give him the Anthony Volpe treatment. It's mind-blowing to me.
The only sense that I can come to, right, when it comes to the idea of the Yankees wanting to make sure that they win because April 15th is too early to say this is a must-win series. This is a must-win series for the New York Yankees. Take a step back. Let's take our Yankee fan goggles off. Let's take our content creators' brains out. Let's put that to the side. Let's look at it logically. The New York Yankees have lost 3 of their last 4 series that they've played, right? The Yankees needed to win the first game of this series. If there was ever a must-win series in April, I know we don't want to say because it's the beginning of the season, this is a must-win series against the Kansas City Royals, a team that you faced in the postseason last year, a team that everybody is saying is going to make their improvement and make leaps and bounds this year. If there was ever a team that you needed to take game 1, it was this series against the Kansas City Royals, and that's the only logic that I could put behind the move that was made last night, because the move that was made last night seemed like we were in September, seemed like we were trying to fight for first place or a wild card spot into the postseason, and it felt like last night's game was a must-win game for the New York Yankees. That's why they went with Cody Bellinger, because he has better numbers against lefties, and he's a better defender. That's the only logic that I could put behind that decision. That's the only way. That's the only way it makes sense to me, Grace, was the fact that the Yankees lost 3 of the last 4 series, and they needed to win game 1 against the Kansas City Royals, a team that they will most likely be facing in the postseason. That's the only logic I could come to with this.
I understand exactly where you're coming from. I agree with you, when you look at it objectively. However, there's just a fine line to walk with your rookies. A fine line of giving them some rope or giving them too much rope that they hang themselves, right? So it's a fine line, and I just felt like last night I didn't agree with the decision.
Especially with the phenomenal plays he made early in the game. There was like 3 plays that he made running, and you saw the improvement, and you saw the confidence, and you saw his teammates more excited for Jasson Dominguez than Jasson Dominguez was excited. He was quoted after the game. It's right here. The more reps I get, the more comfortable I feel. And then he was talking about his teammates being more excited than he was. So shout out to Jasson Dominguez, one, for understanding the situation, and also his teammates for uplifting him. Young player, you got to uplift them.
It's a risk. If you send Jasson Dominguez back out there and he makes an error, right? Worst case scenario. And then the Royals tie it up or something, and we have to go to the bottom of the 9th, right? You're looking back on this decision and you might feel different, right? However, when you're grooming a rookie, right, and you're pumping them up and you want them to be confident and there are moments where you're like, I'm going to gain more from investing in this kid right now, because this is a chance for his confidence to go off the charts. Or I'm going to play it safe toward the negative side, toward the cynical side, and protect my, investment, or protect my runs in this case. And that's what they chose to do, and I don't like it. I wish they would have leaned into the positivity, leaned into the confidence, leaned into the support. I feel like it would have gone further to the growth and development of Jasson Dominguez, rather than playing scared because you're afraid you're going to lose the game. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I feel that they just needed to let the kid Go through it, play through it. If he gets some scrapes, if he falls down, what your mom always told you, Grace,
Exactly.
when you dust off your knees and you get back right up. Shout out to my guy Rich Rivera from Empire State of Baseball, ESB. Shout out to my guy Rich. I miss you, bro. I hope you and the fellas are doing good over there. Make sure you guys go and subscribe to Empire State of Baseball. Rich Rivera, probably one of the only people that I still talk to on Yankees Twitter because he's the best. Shout out to my guy Richie Rivera and everybody over there at Empire State of Baseball. All right, folks, I'm going to put in the chat the link to the open panel in a few minutes. I sent out the bat signal this morning. I got some guys backstage. Grace, you may like this, right? Because you brought up how my friend Roro, he sounded like a real New Yorker. I got his partner in crime, JV, Diamond Discussions. They'll be having this conversation with us because I wanted to talk about Ben Rice, right? And I wanted to get some outside perspective, people that are not a part of the show. So JV's a Yankee fan. Roro is a Met fan. They have great conversations. I'm going to bring them both in so they could join us in on the conversation. Roro, let me know. Let me get a thumbs up. All right, JV, give me a thumbs up. Let me know you're ready to go. My guy JV with the sick back also. JV, how you doing, my guy?
What's going on, guys? You hear me good? Everything's good?
Everything is great. Everything is great. How you feeling?
Good. Hey, Grace, good morning. How you guys doing?
Okay, before you say anything else, are you from Staten Island too?
I'm originally from Brooklyn, and I live in Staten Island, yes.
Okay, because I'm trying to figure out the accents, all right?
it's
a little Brooklyn, a little...
Brooklyn has a little bit of a different, twang to it. Mike can tell you that there's a little bit of a difference, but it's all the same. It's just a bridge that separates us, that's all.
Oh, okay. I need to study my geography.
My guy Mike Roro is in the building. Mikey Roro, how you feeling this morning, brother?
Very good. Happy to be here with you guys. Loving the show so far. Like I said, happy. And Grace, there is definitely a difference with the accent for sure.
Oh, is it? Y'all, I want to tell you this morning, this is off on a tangent, but I want to tell you this morning, I saw something about the Knicks. See, I just take over the show and we go off on a tangent. I'm sorry, Hector. Just love me anyway. I was like, what is a Knick? What is a Knick anyway? And I was like, oh, and my husband goes, it's a knickerbocker. And I said, it's a knickerbocker. And so I looked this up and I'm on this like Google tangent. And then it said like that it was from the Dutch settlers of New York or something. And then I said to my husband, and this is where I need y'all to be impressed. I said, oh yeah, because I think originally New York was called New Amsterdam. Mm-hmm. And my husband was like, what? And I was like, look it up. And then, of course, dunked on him. And I was like, yeah. I was like, put me on Jeopardy or something.
Anna Marie says, Grace is the cutest. Absolutely. Anna Marie. Listen, Roro and JV, before I met you guys, the only person that I knew from Staten Island was my guy, Rich Rivera from Empire State of Baseball. Another dope content creator that you guys need to link up with, Rich Rivera. He has a podcast. There's 4 guys, 2 Yankee fans, 2 Met fans, the same dynamics that you guys do, but it's just more people involved in the conversation. So shout out to my guy, awesome. Rich Rivera. Folks in the chat, we got over 100 people that is rocking out with us this morning. If you guys can, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. On YouTube, we're sitting at 45 people liking, and we got 22 likes. If you guys can, smack that like button. Let's try to go up to 50 likes on the stream. When it comes to subscribers, we're at 5,035. So hit that subscribe button. Help us get to 5K. JV and Roro, I'm gonna toss it to you guys first. Whoever want to take the lead in the conversation, you can take the lead in the conversation. But we're going to talk about Ben Rice. Arroz con habichuela, Ben Rice. So whoever wants to lead the convo, go ahead, brother.
So I'll start off with Ben Rice. It's been really refreshing to see somebody that wasn't really going to make the team last year. Like he kind of came out of the blue, and then this year to see his progression, it's been phenomenal. I think he has a fantastic eye. I think that's been a little bit underrated, in the observation of Ben Rice, and his bat to ball, his hard hit ratio is fantastic. He's got power. He honestly doesn't look like the typical the prototypical type to go in the leadoff spot, but he's a phenomenal leadoff hitter because he works counts and he could get on base, and that's what you want from your one hitter. It doesn't have to be the sexy pick. Austin Wells was the same way. He gets on base. Everybody was like, "Oh, why would they put Austin Wells in the 1 slot?" Because the guy gets on base. He could work a count and he doesn't swing at bad pitches. So I don't care about the look of it. It's if you could get on base, whether via the walk, the hit, it doesn't matter. You deserve to be in the 1 spot. So I potentially think that it's something that they could do all year. He's earned it, and if he keeps going this way, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Stanton. I think that's something that we have to talk about too. If Stanton comes back, what's going to happen to Ben Rice? You can't take the hot hand out. You're going to have to maybe sit Giancarlo Stanton down and be like, hey, we'll use you in certain spots, maybe against lefties. We can't take this kid out right now. So I personally think if Ben Rice is still doing this in June, July, August, he's got to stay in that one slot and stay in the lineup.
Facts. Throw some W's in the chat for my guy JV, who killed it with his take. Roro, I know you're a Met fan, Roro, so be nice. All right, let us know how you feel when it comes to Arro con Ben.
No, I mean, listen, I'll be honest with you. This kid is killing it right now. He really is. I'm looking at his numbers right now. I just wanted to pull up just to refresh. I mean, he's got a 300 batting average. His on-base percentage is at 417, and his OPS is just under 1100. That is incredible for him right now. And for what he's doing and what he's bringing to this lineup, like JV said, to piggyback off that a little bit, doesn't matter how you get on, via the walk, via the hit, whatever it is. And when it seems that he needs to come up with a big hit, he's been doing that as well. He's been making phenomenal at-bats. He looks very poised at the plate. You looking at him from the naked eye, if you just, let's say you took a break from baseball for 5 years and you just watched his at-bats, you wouldn't believe that he's a second-year guy, honestly.
Yeah. The professionalism that Ben Rice carries, right? And you saw that going back into spring training. In spring training, everybody was raving about Ben Rice. He put on 15 pounds of muscles, and you see it. When you look at his stats, I got my cheat sheet here from Major League Baseball. When you look at the stats, Ben Rice, he reached base twice yesterday. He hit his 5th home run of the year with a solo shot in that 5th inning. 8 of his 15 hits this season have gone for extra bases. 2 of them have been doubles. 1 of them was a triple, and 5 of them were home runs. 3 of his last 5 home runs came within the last 5 games. That's impressive when you look at Ben Rice. He has reached safety in 13 of the 14 games with a plate appearance this season, recording a hit in 12 of those games. So throw some W's in the chat for Ben Rice. Grace, what's your thoughts?
He's a great story. Like we were talking about earlier, Hector. He's one of those fan favorite guys who came up last year when Anthony Rizzo got injured and we didn't know who they were going to call up. Some people wanted TJ Rumfelds. Some people wanted Ben Rice. Benny gets called and he goes on a little mini tear right there for us. He has a 3-homer game, the infamous 3-homer game. He does the curtain call, the whole thing. And then the league adjusted to him, and we saw him struggle down the stretch before Anthony Rizzo came back from his injury. And then when Anthony Rizzo came back from his injury, surprisingly, there was never a question of who was going to get that first base job back. That's how much of a kind of slump Ben Rice ended up going on. Now, I know he's made a lot of improvements in this offseason, and we're seeing an incredible version of Ben Rice right now. I'm not trying to rain on the parade because I love Ben Rice, and I hope he's this amazing all year. I'm waiting for the league to adjust to him. I'm concerned that right now he's flying under the radar a little bit because he's kind of a no-name person, not to be rude, but as nationally, right? He's getting more traction, but he's still flying under the radar, and I feel like once the pitchers get a better feel for him and they start throwing him more breaking balls and less fastballs, we're gonna see what Rice is made of. We're gonna see what Rice is cooking. So I'm looking to that to really gauge how this season as a whole is going to end up for Ben Rice. But as of right now, 10 out of 10, do recommend, no notes.
Yeah, and when you look at Ben Rice, he suffered more of bad luck last year, right? Because when you look at his expected batting average from last year, he was putting the ball in play, and he expecting batting average from last year, I think it was like 270 or 280, with the balls that he did put in play. And you see it right now this year. His expecting batting average is over 350, over 360. Ben Rice is killing it. And this is why I tell you, Ben Rice, I think, benefited not having the prospect hype Jasson Dominguez had, not having the prospect hype that Anthony Volpe had. Because one thing that I mentioned last time, Grace, is that when you look at Aaron Judge, when Aaron Judge was coming up as a young prospect in the Yankee system, Gary Sanchez was hyped more than Aaron Judge. Luis Severino was hyped up more than Aaron Judge. Jorge Mateo was hyped up more than Aaron Judge. We traded for Clint Frazier, and everybody thought Clint Frazier, he's going to be the next Josh Donaldson, legendary bat speed, this, that, and third. And then Aaron Judge operated under the radar, came up, he struggled, he struck out like a million times in that 1 month that he was up here. He worked on his game, and he came back, won Rookie of the Year, and he also should have won MVP as well. JV, Roro, I'll toss it over to you guys. Let's get your last takes when it comes to Ben Rice, and then we'll switch gears on the conversation.
So for me, Grace, I just wanted to piggyback off of what you were saying before, like with pitchers adjusting to him. I think Rice is going to actually benefit hitting in the one slot. And the reason why I say that is because he's going to see more fastballs in the one spot due to the fact that if pitchers try to work around him, they have to deal with Bellinger and Judge. You don't want to put Rice on base and to deal with Bellinger and Judge. Now, I know Bellinger's got this back issue that he's dealing with, and it's kind of messing him up consistency-wise. And, he's missing a game here, a game there. But he's a high-contact guy. So if you walk a guy like Ben Rice, and then you got to face Bellinger and Judge, then you got to pitch around Bellinger, you got to pitch around Judge. Bases could be loaded with the time you blink your eye. And then you got to deal with the back end of the lineup with Goldschmidt and all the rest of the lineup. So I personally think if you keep him in the one slot, he's going to really do well. I think he's going to see those fastballs, and he's going to get those counts that he wants to see. And if he's in those 2-1, 3-1 counts, it's only going to benefit Ben Rice, because then the pitcher has to come and attack him. And if he could still do what he's doing, he's either going to mash or he's going to get on base. And then you have to deal with Judge and Bellinger. So I think pitchers need to be careful. I think if he's in the one slot, you got to attack him. And if he's going to be aggressive, I think it's going to only benefit Ben Rice there, to be honest.
Copy. Roro, same question going your way.
I'll be honest with you. I completely agree with everything JV just said. Also, in the other aspect to it, with Grace, I agree with a lot what you said. I'm the type, like, look, it's always great and fun to ride the wave, but what happens when the wave crashes? What's going to happen if Ben Rice starts to slump a little bit? He sees better pitching. There's more out there on him, all that type of stuff. So battle tested. What is it going to be when he does have maybe a little slump here or there? He doesn't hit for a couple games. What is his response to that going to be? I also think he does benefit in the one slot. He's going to see better pitching because, like JV said, you really want to deal with Bellinger or Judge with a guy on base? No, you don't. So he's going to be attacked. The one thing that I did note, too, that I'm looking at his stats, like I'm cheating right now, compared to last season, he played in 50 games last year altogether. And with all that, he had 53 total bases. In 15 games this year, he's already at 34. I think that's insane.
That's more than half of the production right there in 15 in 20 games, so less than that.
Yeah. If this is what 15 pounds of muscle can do, everybody go to the gym right now.
That's it.
Right now. I got some stats also, and I'll toss it over to Grace because I want to get your take after I bring out these stats, I should say, because I want to snack.
I want some snacks.
He currently, Ben Rice, he has a 10-game on-base streak, and this is dating back to April 3rd, right? Which makes the longest streak of his major league career. He's hit 3 points. He has a 367 batting average, a 513 on-base percentage, and an 800 slugging percentage versus right-handed pitching. He has a triple, 2 doubles, and 3 home runs, and 9 walks versus right-handed pitching. In the 7 games that the New York Yankees put Ben Rice as a leadoff hitter, Ben Rice has a 308 batting average. Ben Rice has a 471 on-base percentage, a 769 slugging percentage, 8 for 26 with 7 runs, 1 double, 1 triple, and 3 home runs, being the leadoff hitter for the New York Yankees. You know what that tells me? That tells me that the numbers is working. What's your thoughts, Grace?
Oh, my favorite number of all the ones that you just read was the on-base percentage. That's that is insane. That is an insane number, almost 500. That's like Juan Soto level of getting on base. I mean, I'm not saying he's as good as Juan Soto, but I'm just saying, I remember like even last year, even when Juan Soto wasn't hitting, he was putting up a 500 on-base percentage. It was crazy. And so, even when he wasn't hitting, you still felt like he was contributing to the team because he was getting on base in front of Judge. That's all we wanted. I mean, that's all we could ask for. When he hit home runs last year, that was like a bonus. What we wanted was for him to pressure pitchers when Aaron Judge came up to bat. And That's exactly what JV brought up and what Mike said too about Ben Rice hitting in the 1. If his on-base percentage is almost 500, that's crazy. Obviously, you want him in the leadoff spot with that kind of on-base numbers, but also with the power, also with the aggressive swings. And like JV said, he's hitting cutters and four seams. That's what he's hitting right now. And so if the best place for him to continue seeing those pitches is in the 1, then that's a great point.
I wanted to ask JV, right? Roro, right? Because you invoked the name Juan Soto. I know Juan Soto had his second home run of the season, but Roro, I want to get your take on this whole conversation about Juan Soto missing Aaron Judge and missing playing for the New York Yankees. Again, clickbait. I understand clickbait. I know reporters got a job to do, and they're out there. They got to get a quote. Sometimes when I'm there in the press pool, I'm like, what are you doing? You sound like someone on Twitter. But I understand that it's all about generating clicks, and it's all about generating views. So, Roro, you are the Met fan up here. I want to get your take on it, brother.
So from what I saw with that whole story that
I'm going to bring up Erica as well to join us. Sorry about that. Go ahead, Roro.
No, you're good. You're good. So what I did see with that story was that he was basically asked how pitchers are attacking him now this season, and has he noticed a difference? And he flat out said, well, I was hitting in front of Aaron Judge, so of course I was seeing better pitching and things to that nature. So it's basically just an adjustment. I did see John Heyman's post about it. I really necessarily didn't like his take because he comes out and says, oh, well, Soto's coming out here saying that he misses Aaron Judge. I think that was a little out of context and a little kind of maybe disingenuous to an extent because he was asked the question and he answered it honestly. So now when it's brought out, when a reporter like that with his name and his following goes out and kind of like off a little bit from what he actually said, now you don't wonder why players give vague answers because no matter what, you're going to twist and turn it every which way you can. And I thought that was a little bit of a disservice to the situation, if I'm being honest. I mean, I appreciate the fact that he was honest, and it is the reality. When you're hitting in front of a guy like Aaron Judge, you're going to benefit from that. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're Juan Soto, Ben Rice, Trent Grisham. You're going to see better pitching for that reason. So I don't have a problem with what he said, if I'm being honest.
I think I say cheesy soul case. You're out of pocket in the chat. I'm fucking dying. But no, I listen with the whole Juan Soto thing. Like I said, it's generating clicks, right? It's the same thing with the New York Knicks. Knicks for clicks is something that everybody talk about. To me, it sounds annoying. It sounds redundant. But like Roro said, at least he was honest. Right. We one thing we've always killed these athletes are why aren't they honest? Why aren't they honest? When a player pops and fails a drug test, why can't you just be honest and say, hey, yeah, I took that or whatever? Why you got to go around the bush? I brought that up because I know that'll make you happy, Mike. But no, I agree with you. JV, I want to get your take. I want to throw it over to our good friend, That's Baseball, Erica, who is in the building as Grace is reconnecting. Go ahead, Eric. Go ahead, JV.
So, again, if Juan Soto went to the Cardinals, we wouldn't even be talking about Juan Soto. It's just literally because everything is going to be under a microscope because he's a Met now. So the guy is literally getting asked a general question, and it's not even like he's being baited. It's not even like, hey, do you miss Aaron Judge? No, it's not even that he's being asked that. He's saying, hey, what's the issue? What's different, with your hitting right now? And he says the answer like Mike says, and he gets completely crapped on, basically. He's being honest, and now they're saying, oh, Juan Soto's taking shots at Pete Alonso. There is no shot at Pete Alonso. Aaron Judge is a better hitter. There's no debate comparing Aaron Judge to Pete Alonso, and that's not taking anything away from Pete Alonso. The man actually has the NL home run rookie record. No one's going to take away his power, his ability to hit. It's literally the facts. He was hitting in front of the best right-handed hitter in baseball. And right now, it's a little different. He went back to the National League. They're attacking him a little bit different. It's perfectly fine what he said. And I was telling Mike that yesterday. I said the man answered honestly, and he's kind of getting the crappy end of the stick for it. And I think it's kind of wrong. And I feel like it's going to force Juan to maybe answer questions in the future a little bit more generic, where he can't give too much now because everything is going to be. It's going to be analyzed under a fine-tooth, a microscope, and it's kind of not fair. Let them just play. And Juan is a Met, and that's it.
I was gonna say, when it comes to the whole conversation, the takeaway for me and the thing that is not being looked at is the great start that Pete Alonso is having to this season. Pete Alonso is leading the National League and hitting. Roro, when did you ever think that you would hear on April 15th, halfway during the first month of the season, that Pete Alonso will be leading the league and hitting? I don't think any Met fan had that on their bingo card coming into this season. If I would have told any Met fan in the offseason, they would have said, sign me up 3 days on yesterday.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. And you know what? I think he's taken on the role of he knows what is in front of him, and he knows that he's got Soto in front of him,
That's a good
Lindor in
point.
front of him. These guys are going to get on base, and he understands the assignment, at least for right now. My biggest takeaway with Alonso is him laying off those outside balls that he normally swings at, that tailing slider that Judge has a similar issue with sometimes, that he'll chase that slider out and away. And, you know, the fact that Alonso isn't doing that, I think, is the more impressive thing to me.
I want to throw it over to Erica, our good friend Erica, who I had the privilege of meeting first time IRL this past Sunday at the JC Escara event. Erica, how you feeling?
I'm good, man. Happy to be here. Appreciate you having me. As far as what we're discussing, I agree wholeheartedly with Mike and JV. And as you said, I mean, it's clearly clickbait. But I promise you, Soto's going to start going off now. Like, inevitably, it's going to happen. Because yesterday, I looked at his stat line and I was told my cousin, who's a huge Met fan, I'm like, man, that's so his stats are so surprising right now. Immediately, I said that he hit a home run. And then all this New York Post stuff started coming out. And I just hate how, I understand as a journalist, you gotta, you know, just what is being said, you have to report on. But now they're backpedaling. The front or the back cover changed all of a sudden. The guy, I guess, that wrote about it, he was like, oh, it's like, you know, that there was an editor out there and it was like, this is juicy. Like, we're going to run with this and we're going to have all the Mets fans talking smack, all the Yankee fans. And then to backpedal on it, it's like, no, dude, you got to stand on business. If you guys are going to do that, like, you knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
But I will say Judge does deserve at least 10% of that contract, because there's no way that anybody's worth the amount that he got. But you know what? Kudos to him. So yeah, I don't want to be hung up on it. When I first saw it, I was like, this is nothing. Like, this guy, we've seen him a full year. You know, we know what he's capable of. He'll be fine. And I promise you, he's about to go off.
Yeah. Grace, I want to toss it over to you because I know you love this conversation. I know at nighttime when you go to bed, you're like, oh, I'm so happy that Juan Soto is not with the New York Yankees. So what's your take on all this? No. The only reason why I say that, because I know Grace really likes the moves that Brian Cashman made this offseason. When it comes to adding Cody Bellinger, when it comes to adding Paul Goldschmidt, you see it in Paul Goldschmidt. Grace, just looking at my stats right now, I forgot to mention this when you was going off, but Paul Goldschmidt was 2 for 4 yesterday. He has reached base safely in 12 of his 16 games this season, batting .367, a .409 on base percentage, which is Grace's favorite, 500 slugging, 22 for 60 in his time as a New York Yankee. So go ahead, Grace. Let's get your take when it comes to this Juan Soto mess.
Oh, that sounds good. Yeah, with the Juan Soto thing, what I wanted to say was, I'm pretty sure that Aaron Judge has said almost the exact same thing. You know, saying, well, last year I had Juan Soto batting in front of me, so I got to see a lot of pitches and I got pitched different because he was usually on base. And that story didn't blow up like this one did, because Juan Soto just signed the largest sports contract in, you know, the history of the United States. So it's a clickbait. It's, you know, whatever. As a Yankees fan, when I saw the story, I was like, oh, next. Like, I wasn't like, whoa, he regrets it all. Like, no, I know John Heyman's vibes. I don't like his vibes. I'm not a big fan of John Heyman. It's no secret on our show. But taking a quote like that, where he was just paying respect to a former teammate, to a stand-up guy, and one of the best hitters in the game, if not the best, you can make an argument, he was just paying respect. And people take that and they misconstrue it. They take it out of context. They run with it. And look, that's the way the media is. These guys know that. Unfortunately, like JV said, that's why they're not honest. That's why they're not forthcoming with their true emotions and feelings, because they have to guard themselves from these trash media outlets or whoever that try to make them look bad just so they can make a buck or two in the meantime. And of course, Juan Soto is not off to the hottest start in the world. I wouldn't call it a slump. I wouldn't say he's a bad baseball player. He's just not off to the hottest start like he'd had last year, maybe. So it's juicy for that reason. Oh, he's not doing as well, and now he said he misses Judge. Like, no, that's not what he said. You know, he just stated facts.
Mm-hmm.
It was no commentary of opinion or emotion or anything like that. He was just stating facts. So anyway.
Yeah, no, it's to me, again, I think we could all agree, you know, consensusly that it was all clickbait. It was all trying to get some traction. Like Erica said, there was an editor out there that said, oh, this is juicy. We got to throw it out there. And that's why when you look at the New York Post, right? Shout out to the New York Post. They have me up there and stuff like that. I understand it. Again, at the end of the day, it's all about generating clicks. We get that, right? And it was a good article. It was tracked. There was a lot of traction on Twitter. So it did its job at the end of the day, right? But like Grace said, and I think everybody else here on the panel could agree, when I saw it, I didn't have the immediate reaction to, I got to make some content. I can't wait to talk about this to Grace and Erica. That didn't come about my mind. What came across my mind was, shit, I know Roro is pissed off right now because this is just another conversation that Yankee fans are going to have for Met fans when there's no need to even have the conversation in the first place. Yeah. There's no need to have it. Let Juan Soto be Juan Soto. The amount of Yankee fans that I see walking around Yankee Stadium with the on opening day, the jersey, the 22 with the trader in the back, it was cool on opening day. It's April 15th. Get off of it. You sound like somebody that's in the comment section with the same joke over and over and over again. Let the horse die and let it be. Now, to switch topics, right? Because I know Grace want to get into this conversation because she said, let me know when I can curse. Well, Grace, you can curse now, all right? Because we're going to talk about Carlos Rodon, all right? Grace, I'll let you lead the conversation. Start it off. And then kick it over to Erica, then Roro and JV. Go ahead, Grace.
Here's what I want to say. And it's a Wanda Sykes quote from a movie or something, I think. I am sick of you. I am sick of your shit. I am sick. And when I'm not sick, I'm tired. I am sick and tired. That's what I want to say to Carlos Rodon. I am sick and tired of your shit. When are you going to get it together? This contract is an absolute farce so far. How dare you? We need you to step up. We need you right now. We signed you to be a co-ace. You are barely a fourth or a fifth pitcher. You are absolutely the biggest letdown of signings in the last 2-3 years for sure. Allowed more home runs than any other starter in baseball. 51 home runs since he became a Yankee. And let me tell you, the first year he was a Yankee, he was injured most of the year. Okay? So that is a big number, okay? The overall rotation of the New York Yankees has the highest ERA in baseball right now, okay? Now, I know it's a small sample size, okay? But Carlos Rodon, you are supposed to be a veteran. You're supposed to be a leader on this team. You're not a 25-year-old kid who just got called up and is trying to figure it out. You're a full-grown man, and we need you to lead this team and do better. And you come out and you throw your slider and you throw your fastball and you work it in your curve and you work, and that's cute. Stop walking guys and then giving up the long ball. This is not something new that's just happening to you, a new pattern. Oh, we got to figure it out. No, this is old news. I'm so tired of it. We are all tired of it.
I got something to play for Grace. Give me a second. Hold on, wait. I got something to play for Grace.
Yes, please.
Sick of your shit. And when I'm not sick, I'm tired. I am sick and tired. I am sick.
That is fantastic.
That was pretty close.
It's pretty accurate.
Same energy. That was awesome.
Yeah, Erica, I want to toss it over to you to get your take, and then I'll kick it back over to JV and Mike to get their take on the conversation when it comes to Los. Go ahead, Erica.
I don't know how to follow that up. That's I feel like everything that needed to be said was said, but I'll try to take a different approach. I want to like Rodon, right? Really bad. I made the excuse of him pitching in the cold weather, the bad making that call on strike 3. But then what happens is he loses his composure and he doesn't have like the mental strength to stay focused and locked in and get the next batter out, right? If he walks somebody, they come back in and score. If there's an error on the field, you got to pick up your defense and just lock in. And I feel like he is missing that. I don't know what's going on. He has good stuff, right? That outing, he made literally 2 bad pitches. Jung-Ho Lee turned into Barry Bonds. Like, I don't know what to tell you. The dude is on fire. But it's just the contract does look like a fail. I did give JC Esquera some crap when we were at the event. And I was like, who called for that curveball? How you have this guy on his 4th best pitch? If anything, his 1st worst pitch. Like that's what you decided on? And he's like, yeah, I called it. My
But that's some humility about it. Shout out to JC.
But I mean, when you call that pitch, you don't expect it to be a freaking meatball at the top of the zone. So yeah, to Grace's point, I mean, there's no excuse for the amount of home runs that he's given up, especially missing most of his first year in pinstripes. He is a pivotal part of this rotation, considering that once Garrett Cole went down, but now we're more excited to see Clark Schmidt come back. You know, a guy that's really coming into his sophomore season. So yeah, I don't know. He's at this point he has to go out there and prove it himself, because every post game conference presser or whatever, he's saying the same crap. He's like, I can't leave pitchers out there and I can't do the walks.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, it's the same thing over and over again. At this point, it's the boy who cried wolf. Like, you need to prove it to me now. So we'll see.
I have to say something. Okay, first of all, JC is a rookie. He called for a curveball. You're the veteran. You're getting paid $30 million a year. If you know you don't have your curve right now, that you can't throw it for a strike, that you can't get deception on it, that this is the 3rd time you've seen him in the game, and you know he's going to take you out of the park. If you throw the curveball, you say to him, no. You're the veteran. You're the leader. I can't even blame JC Escara for that, okay? Second of all, last year, his bitch ass got bailed out by a rookie who ended up winning Rookie of the Year. This year, his bitch ass is wanting to get bailed out by Clark Schmidt, who's making the league minimum. You're getting paid $30 million a year. What are we doing?
I just got to say real quick, I got to say, the thoughts and views that were expressed this morning on Yankees Morning Brew, they reflect Grace Monroe. And Grace.
I'm sorry, but I am sick of his shit. I am sick. I'm tired. And when I'm not sick, I'm tired.
I got my guy Cheesy Soul Case in the chat who says, I traded Rodon in fantasy for Clay Holmes. That's how far he has fallen. Mark T. Maker says, Grace, I got put down on another channel for the same take. Listen, Mark, one thing that I always say, I never battle people and say that your take is wrong or my take is wrong. I mean, my take is better. If you have a different take of mine's, copy. It's all baseball at the end of the day. My guy Rich Rivera said, Rodon is getting paid way too much for someone who can't beat players that are named Andy Ibanez, Vinny Caprara, or whatever his name is, Lourdes Gurriel, and Jung-Ho Lee. 100%. JV, I'll toss it over to you because for some reason StreamYard keeps fucking throwing you up there. So I'll toss it over to you, bro. Let's get your take on the conversation.
I don't know if Grace knows this, but Rodon's average against is actually 140. It's usually one inning for this guy. It's always a problem. I don't, and he's the best 4-inning pitcher in baseball. he gets to the 5th inning. He gets to the 5th inning, and it's a problem. I mean, he was cruising against San Francisco.
He was.
There was times where I felt comfortable walking away from the game. I made a sandwich. I sat down. I was playing with my kids. I felt like we were coasting, and then we get to the 1 inning, and he gives up 4 runs. And you're looking at the screen, and you're like, "Wow, it's 4-3. What just happened?" And I don't know if it's him, but I wanted to make a point about composure, what Erica had said before. I went to opening day and he had the opening day start against Milwaukee, and we were up 3-0. He gave up a home run to Vinny Capra, and then he gave up a single to, I think it was Bryce Terang. You know what he did that was very complete 180 from this year to last year. He actually stepped off the mound. He took his hat off. He composed himself. He took a deep breath, and he got the next 3 outs with no problem. That was something last year that Rodon never did. He always looked visually upset. It was always a bad call from an umpire that would maybe get him into a whirlwind. He couldn't find the zone, and then he'd give up a big inning, 3 or 4 runs. Against Milwaukee, I felt like, you know what? If that's the Rodon we're going to see this year, he's going to win 20 games. He won 16 games last year. I said, if he can keep his composure, it's all going to translate into good things. In Detroit, what happened? He gets a strike 3 call that wasn't a strike 3 call, and then he winds up walking a guy and gives up a home run. It's just, to me, it's unfortunate. I don't know if it's not the stuff. The hanging curveball against Jung Ho Lee, obviously that's his fault. You can't leave hanging curveballs to anybody. I don't care who it is, Andy Ibanez, Jung Ho Lee. Professional hitters are going to do what they have to do to hanging curveballs. That's why they're in the leagues. But it's usually just 1 inning for him. If he can literally get through the 5th and 6th inning of doing whatever he's doing from the 1st through the 4th, he can win 20 games. It's really mind-boggling, and it's unfortunate, honestly. But that's basically what we're dealing with. And I get your frustration, Grace, trust me, because if you look at the numbers, he's literally hitting it's 140. The league is hitting 140 against him, and that's not just lefties, that's lefties and righties. So it's unfortunate right now, honestly.
And it's not like it's not like it's the first time or second time or third time through the lineup. He has those numbers across the board.
Yes.
That 1 inning that you bring up. Sorry, Grace, go ahead. Sorry about that.
I was just going to say that is a great point. Unfortunately, that's why we're all so frustrated with Carlos Rodon, because we see the stuff, and the stuff is good. He is money. We see it. We love it. We cheer for it. And then he breaks our hearts. You know, I'm not up here screaming about Marcus Stroman or Carlos Carrasco, who, shout out, got through the game last night, throwing everything but the kitchen sink at those Royals, and he did it. He did his job. But I'm not up here talking about people who have no talent, wasting my breath, wasting my time saying DFA Carlos Rodon. I'm not saying that. I'm saying step up, be who you are supposed to be, and who we all know that you can be, because we've seen it. What are you doing? And the only block it seems to be is a mental block. Only Carlos Rodon can unlock that. That's not Matt Blake. That's not JC Scarra. That's not Austin Wells. That's only Carlos Rodon. I'm begging you.
Yeah. Roro, I'll toss it over to you to get your take in on the conversation as well. G, I appreciate you. Hector, do you hear anything about the Yankees making a move? As of right now, no. Go ahead, Mikey.
Well, first things first. Grace, you're from Texas, right? All right.
Yes,
well,
sir.
your New York card is here and waiting for you, because that was fantastic, and I'm so glad that I was on this panel, because that was incredible.
That was incredible.
I wanted to fall
so
over and turn purple with laughter. That was spectacular.
Well, we got to get her a nice New York pie too. A nice New York pie.
Yeah, absolutely.
With
Does
the
that
New York
mean
card
pizza?
inside the pizza box. Yeah, that was fantastic.
Yes, that was incredible. Really. So your New York card is here waiting for you whenever you want it. But I will say this: I've always been a fan of Rodon. White Sox Rodon, Giants Rodon, and even when he went to the Yankees, not that I try to root for Yankees all that much, but I've always been a fan of this guy. And seeing him struggle with what I know he's capable of is frustrating, and I can understand why you guys are, in a sense, somewhat crashing out with him. And it's like you guys said, he has a one bad inning or just a couple of hitters where he just loses who he is for a moment, and it's does he find it or does he not? I love what JV said with the opening day thing, with him coming off the mound, taking his hat off, taking a breath, and just kind of seizing the moment. The other big thing for a pitcher as well, there's 2 chess matches that you're dealing with on the mound when you're pitching, and it's 1 against the hitter and 2 against the umpire. And to me, the biggest one is against the umpire, because if you allow a bad call rattle you and eliminate your aspect of your game, then you lost that chess match with to me, immediately you're going to lose the rest of your matches for the rest of the day. And I think that's one of the most important things. Like, until we get the ABS rule into effect, you have to understand it is a part of the game. It's an unfortunate part of the game, but it is what it is, and it's here. So the thing is, if the umpire makes a bad call, that's on him. I understand you made a great pitch and it didn't go your way, but guess what? You still have to make another one. And don't let what the umpire did to you ruin that. And he can't let that get to him.
Yeah. Yeah,
I was
100%.
defending Carlos Rodon last week. If you guys happen to see, the last time he had a start, I was defending him because of the umpire. I am not a Carlos Rodon hater. Let's be clear, I'm not. But I am absolutely worn out about this. It's the same song and dance. It's the same thing every week. It's this excuse, that excuse. Oh, this, that, blah, blah, blah. I'm done. Like, I'm done. It's time to put up or shut up.
Listen, when it comes to Carlos Rodon, like JV said, and shout out to Erica's dog, who's always cute. Like JV says, it's always that one inning. He is probably the best bad pitcher in Major League Baseball. When you look at his stuff, when you look how dominating he can be, they brought it up in the broadcast. He was going more with his breaking pitch. His slider was the one that he was getting over. The slider, fastball, changeup combination was working for him. So to see him go to that curveball in that situation, the pitch that he wasn't throwing the entire game on the regular like he was his other pitches, to me, I think that probably came from the dugout. I don't blame JC. I don't even blame Lowe's. I blame the dugout and the loving of the analytics. Credit to the analytics. When they work, they're amazing. When they don't work, like that curveball against Jung Ho Lee, because Jung Ho Lee has a horrible batting average against the curveball, and that's why they went with the curveball in that situation. Well, guess what? He hanged it, and Jung Ho Lee, he banged it. You like the rhyming scene for that one, right? I was, dropping
You
bars.
want to blame Aaron Boone and say, oh, they should have pulled him, and they should have known once he walked that guy that he was going to unravel, and he was up to 90 pitches at the point. They should have pulled him, blah, blah, blah. They shouldn't let him face him 3 times. Jung Ho Lee 3 times. But at the same time, you're like, no, our starting pitcher the day before didn't even go a single inning, or day before that, didn't even go a single inning. The bullpen is maxed. We're at a 13-game homestand, and we can't afford, we need Rodon to carry us a little bit through this inning. We need to be able to depend on him, and you just can't.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Grace. I think everybody else in the chat agrees. Folks, we got over 100 people watching us. If you guys can, please, like always, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We are at 5,035 subby wubbies. So we thank everybody for the subscribes. We thank everybody for the likes. Mike, we're about to end the show in less than 10 minutes, right? So what I like to traditionally do, Roro, is, wait, no, you was up here last time. So I got thrown over to JV. I apologize, Roro. What we normally do, JV, is whenever we have people, the open panel, we give them a topic for them to lead the conversation. So Roro did that last time. So I'm going to give it over to you. Lead us in whatever topic that's rolling around in that beautiful brain of yours. Throw it over to Erica, Grace, Roro, and then we're going to wrap things up to end the show. We got about 10 minutes, so let's try to make it as fast as possible. Go ahead, JV.
So is it okay if it's like a part 1 and a part 2? So in my head, I'm thinking, does Marcus Stroman ever throw a pitch for the Yankees again? That's something I've been thinking about. Mm-hmm. And part 2 of my my little thing going on is, does Jasson Dominguez get told that he has to strictly hit from the left side?
Okay, that's a solid one. Erica, I'll toss it over to you. Let's get the answer for both of them when it comes to Stroman and Jasson.
With Stroman, I wouldn't be surprised if we seen the last of him, only because the IL stint that they have him on felt like a phantom IL stint. Like immediately when it happened, I was actually talking to Hector about it the other day. Just something didn't feel right about it. It was like all of a sudden this dude can't talk to the media. You're trying to get him out of the spotlight real quick. And all of a sudden he has a left knee inflammation. I don't even know if the cortisone shot was real. Like I would like to see the records on that. But like I wouldn't be surprised if that was his last time in pinstripes. And at this point, if that's what he's gonna give us, if that's the production that he's gonna give us, is not, what is it, 1 out he got or 2 outs? He gave up 5 runs before even getting an out. I'd rather see somebody else. Give me another pitcher. I forget the guy that they called up. That Aaron. What's his?
Aaron. Yeah, I forgot his name.
Yeah, that guy. But I'd rather just see him. Like see what he can.
Yeah, something like that. Grace.
Andrew Winans. Yeah, I think it was Andrew Winans.
Okay. And I was before that start, I was ready to say like, oh, you have to like Cookie Carrasco is the guy that you drop. But after that, I was like, no, it's clearly Stroman. Like, I know you're paying him a lot of money, but like Cookie Carrasco went out and had a solid 5 innings yesterday. Warren, like that was a veteran performance. You know what I'm saying? Like they needed that, and it wasn't. He's not going 7 innings, 8 innings. That's not what he is. But for him to be able to lock down that lineup, because the Royals are no pushover. I mean, they're a playoff team. So for him to do that, that was such a veteran performance, and I would rather see that 10 out of 10 times, you know, other than the Stroman outing. So on that note, and then the Jasson Dominguez thing. I don't know, man. That was really weird. I know you guys discussed it. I was on the call. I was on a call with my boss, and he wouldn't shut up. And I was like, "Yo, I need to get on the stream. I want to, I want to talk about this." And I heard you guys talking about Jasson Dominguez getting pulled. That was really weird. Cody Bellinger's on the bench because he has a sore back. Why are you having him come in against a lefty on lefty matchup? And after Jasson Dominguez just had such a great defensive performance, and you want to build on that confidence, like I'm sure you guys said all this already, so I apologize if I'm just being redundant about it. But yeah, like when you see things like that, I wouldn't be surprised. I think it'd be silly to do so. I think that he's so young and his ceiling is so high that you have to give him chance to develop and, you know, get better and see these pitches on a major league level and see how he handles it from the right side. So I hope not, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Copy. Grace. Toss it over to you, Grace Monroe. The biggest Yankee fan from Texas, the only Yankee fan in Texas that I love. Go ahead, Grace.
So when it comes to Jasson Dominguez, like I said earlier, it's like they're saying one thing, but they're doing another thing. And actions speak louder than words. I believe that, you know. So they're showing me that they do not trust him from the right side. So if that's the case, then let him go up there on the left side. Or what are we doing? What are we doing? So right now I feel like they're in a limbo with him. I don't think they have made a decision one way or the other, whether they're going to keep him on the left side always or keep trying to develop his switch hitting ability. But I'm going to say that I think they're going to keep trying with his switch hitting ability. They're just going to pick their spots, and they're not going to give it a true runway, and it's going to be a long, slow death from the right side for Jasson Dominguez. That's what I think will happen. As far as Marcus Stroman goes, if I had to say yes or no, not well, I wouldn't be surprised, or maybe this, maybe that. If I had to say yes or no, I would say no. We don't ever see him throw a pitch in pinstripes again. And the reason I say that, or the reason I lean that way, is because he has said over and over that he will not pitch out of the bullpen. And so because of that, I think that could be the reason why we don't see him again. Because if we do see him again, if they don't want to just outright DFA him, then they might utilize him in like mop-up situations. That's where he is. And if he's unwilling to pitch out of the bullpen, then we will have seen his last pitch in pinstripes, I think. We'll see.
I want to shout out my guy, the People's Champ in the building. Dennis, how you doing, folks? If you guys ever watching the Yankee broadcast, if you ever see the Bleacher Creatures doing their roll call, the guy with the big ass WWE Yankee belt, that's my guy, Dennis, good friend. Fucking great individual. I met him last year at the stadium. Every time I see him, it's family. So shout out to Dennis. I just want to give him love. He says, sorry I'm late. Definitely had to drop by the show to show some love. Bendición, Tío. Hi, Grace and everyone. Bendición to you, Dennis. I hope all is well. Also, too, before Roro goes, this is the link for the Diamond Discussion podcast. This is JV and Roro's podcast. I'm going to put the link in the chat again. Not sure if anything got cut off, but this is the link to the Diamond Discussion podcast. It is in the chat. Make sure you guys go subscribe, give him a follow on Spotify. Mikey, Roro, let's get your take before we let you guys go.
So as far as Stroman goes, I think as far as just needs, if they have to, he will pitch. Unfortunately, in that situation, if it continues down the road of what you just saw, then he's probably done. More so on the Jasson Dominguez thing, I'm going to go out on a whim here and I'm going to make a call. I don't think this is going to be an in-season thing that they're going to do, but I'm going to say by next offseason, 2026, Jasson Dominguez will exclusively be a left-handed hitter. I think that's what's going to end up happening in that situation. Because how do you not put him in? How do you take him out of the game? Lefty on righty, and you bring in Bellinger, like Erica said, with the sore back, and you bring him into that situation.
And it's
He's
just
a
so
switch hitter
important.
for a reason.
It's so unfortunate to me too, really quick to before we wrap it up, is that we're so left-handed heavy right now that we could afford to have a right-handed bat. And if you could have 2 and 1, it's the best of both worlds. And I feel like we're kind of squandering that a little bit. And like to go with back to what Erica and Grace was saying, you literally pinched hit for a guy that can hit from the right side for a left-hander.
Right.
So it's like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Realistically, what are we doing? So the fact that we're so right-handed short right now, and that Dominguez could be that guy, it's just unfortunate to see that he's getting pulled after having such a great defensive performance. He was getting on base that game. It's like, what are we doing?
You're saying it when Mike Roro, that was a great point talking about Jasson Dominguez possibly pulling the Cedric Mullins and being an exclusive left-handed hitter. I shared the Discord earlier. I'm gonna make you a mod right now, brother. Don't worry about it. Give me 2 seconds. But JV, Roro, gotta let you guys know. Let them know where they can follow you guys on social media real quick, bro.
So you can follow us on Diamond Discussions 25 on Instagram, and we're also on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, the same handle. And we're also on Apple too, Apple Podcasts. You can find the actual podcast on Apple and Spotify.
Copy. Roro, last words for the people.
Listen, I appreciate being up here with you guys. I had a lot of fun. Seeing that tenacity from Grace was amazing. I'm honestly not going to forget that. Hey, happy Jackie Robinson Day.
Yes,
absolutely.
Robinson Day. I was going to save that for the end. JV, Roro, appreciate you guys. I'm going to drop you guys down. I will see you on these TikTok streets. Erica, our good friend, let them know where they could follow you at on all social media platforms. Shout out to my guy Caleb in the building. Go ahead, Erica.
You guys can follow me at That's Baseball Erica on Instagram, YouTube, and then it's Walls of Jerica on Twitter. So I don't have an X handle for this, but yeah, just if you guys can subscribe or just go over. I just been putting out a couple of short videos, hopefully longer videos to come. But yeah, getting back to it.
Erica, you're killing it. Like I told you on Sunday, keep going, girl. You are amazing. You and Grace, you guys kill it when it comes to these Yankee takes. When it comes to letting people know what it really means to be a Yankee fan. Erica, you are amazing. It was great to meet you and your husband IRL. I look forward to us doing interviews at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's just hit me up.
I definitely will. You be safe. Later, Erica.
All right, bye.
Yeah, and it was a great conversation, but we got to end it here, because we got to go. Because Grace has a life, I have a life. All you Yankee fans, you guys have lives as well. Grace, last words for the people.
Last words today.
Sorry, I just wanted to say.
Last words today is out of everything that happened today, I became a New Yorker today. So that's
Hey.
I'm an honorary.
Grace is an honorary New Yorker. She's going to get her pair of Timbs and her New York City Metro card in the mail. So just be on the lookout.
Dude, the first time I went to New York and I rode the subway, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to figure this out. I got lost anyway. I saved my Metro card. And then when I had a friend that was a real New Yorker, saw that I saved my Metro card, they were like, what did you? And I was like, what? It's from my trip to New York. And they were like, that is not something you save. And I was like, oh, sorry.
I just put the link to the Discord in the chat. One of the great Yankee Discords that is out there. Sorry, Grace, go ahead.
I'm going to have my honorary New York card in my heart. I'll save it like I did my first Metro card.
Listen, Grace, I love doing these shows with you. We broke 5K subscribers. We are on our way to 10K. Yankees Morning Brew is growing. I can't wait to get you to New York so we could go to Yankee Stadium one of these days. Just to let everybody know, when I'm in the booth, I'm always taking videos and sending it to Grace so she could feel like she's there and she could get that exclusive behind the scenes. Grace, just gotta say I love you, bestie. Just know that. Always love you.
I love you too, Hector. And I love all y'all in the chat.
That's absolutely. And shout out to the chat. Mikey Boys is in the building. Appreciate you. Caleb Vasquez, who says 10K is next. Absolutely. Big time, Jerry. Appreciate you, Jerry. The Uncle Dio Dennis is in the building. Appreciate you, Dennis, as well. Anna Marie, day one. Anna Marie is a day one. So shout out to Anna Marie. Appreciate all of you guys. My guy Ghost was in the building. Mi hermana de la isla is in the building. Mi hermano, how you feeling? Eddie Snaps, I appreciate you. Mark T. Maker. We had Anthony Medina earlier as well. Yankee fans, we appreciate you guys. We'll be back next week, Thursday. We got some special guests lined up, so just be on the lookout because we got some special guests. I'm Hector.
I'm Grace Monroe.
This has been another episode of Yankees Morning Brew.
Brew.
And until next time, you beautiful people, deuces.
Oh, did it.
You fought well yesterday. Your style is unorthodox.
Scorpio.